Well, hello there. I'm the Rifter, and welcome to another tutorial. This isn't the normal tutorial. It's not how to fix a vehicle or any kind of large diesel truck. It is a tutorial on animation. I am relatively new to animation, but there is a program. It's called Marmoset Hexels 3. It is a very powerful program. I may not be doing it the most user-friendly way, but it does work, and it works well. And I'll go through an entire animation sequence with you, from opening the program to completing the actual export of the animation. So here we go, and then I'll show you a few tricks I use. But no one taught me how to use Hexels. There aren't any really good tutorials online, and believe me, I searched because I really wanted to figure out how to use this. And I'm going to be working with 8-bit sprites. And some of them I made, and other ones I took and clipped, and I made all of them. We'll put it that way. I didn't create all the material, such as the background that I'll show you, but I did create all the art. So first thing you want to do, I got my Marmoset Hexels 3 up there. You just double click that. You're going to come to a scary screen, and it's going to be like, oh my god, what do I do here? What do I do? If it opens. Apparently it didn't open. There we go. Marmoset Hexels 3. You're going to come to this scary screen. Okay, so you'll see that I've got different projects that I've worked and used, whatever. So you've got some templates here. This is Trixels, and Trixels are, you're going to get the option to paint with triangles, which it can look smoother if you do it right, but I don't want to do that. There's Pixel Trixels, don't know what that is. I know there are more triangles, Pixel Trixels, Hexels, which, let's see, a Trixel grid set up for drawing square. So basically 4 triangles to a square. Don't want to do that. It can make some of your drawings look a lot more crisp, but I don't want to do that. I'm really into the 8-bit. Then you've got Classic, which is a hexagonal grid. And then this is cool. Randomly generated cellular grid that also tiles at the borders. So basically you have random shapes that you are drawing on. Kind of like a mosaic. It's called Voronoi. I would have said Voronoi, but Voronoi. Moving on. Then you've got Pixel Layer, which that's what we're going to use because it is the standard square pixel. You've also got a custom shape, which this is straight up tessellation, which I'm pretty sure this is another Trixel pixel, but it says Houndstooth, which I don't think that's what they all look like, but you can make your own shape, I'm pretty sure. Then you've got halftone circles, which I think this is awesome. One of my favorite comic book characters, Cerebus the Aardvark, he was drawn with a gray and black dotted screen for his color, and it was grayish, but I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. I've never used it. I hope to someday. Then you've got Groovy Voronoi. Textured Voronoi tiles make up a groovy pattern. I don't know where I would use this unless it's for some kind of optical illusion. Don't care. Anyway, that's your templates. And then you've got, these are like user samples of what people have done with our Hexels 3. And they're pretty cool. They're some pretty neat animations. That thing's crazy. I like it. But, you know, you can browse these. You can open them up and look at the file. I don't want to do that. Templates. We're clicking on squares and create. Alright, so this is going to look kind of intimidating at first, and it intimidated me until I really sat down and started looking at it, and it's pretty much just like Photoshop. But I'm going to show you the first thing that I like to do is I come in here and it's got background color white, just transparent. And then I go down to grid opacity and I just turn it down because you see you've got the grid there. I just turn it down because I don't really want to see a lot of it, just a little. Also on your wrapping preview, take that and turn it up. You can turn it up there or there. I kind of like to leave it here until I get further into the project, and then I'll turn it up more. If you do that, it's fine. Just sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between your actual drawing board and then the part that's going to be off camera, so to speak. So I'm going to leave that right there. I'm in 48 by 48 for my base canvas, and this is another thing that I love about this program, is it's got your document size right here, so you can manipulate it however you want. I don't quite want 40. I don't want 48. I'm going to leave it at 40 for the. I'm going to leave it at 40 for the height, and come over to the width and do. I believe it was 28. So to start animation, you really need to draw out your sprites first. And if you don't know what sprites are, basically sprites are characters, and you have a sheet that can be full of these characters. Just to show you, there's this timeline here in the bottom right corner. Click on that, and this will bring up your timeline setup. And by the way, if you're struggling with this and you're trying to get into these animation settings, they are not available until you click on timeline. Because see, you go to animation, you can't do crap. You can't import a sprite sheet. You can't, you can barely do anything. But if you click on timeline and go back into animation, voila, you've got a ton of settings. First thing I like to do on my projects, though, is it's usually at 8 frames per second when I start up. I'm sure I can change it in the preferences, I just haven't done so yet. But I like to put it to a minimum of 30 or 60. It just depends on how smooth you want the animation. I would just kind of show you. Let's see, import sprite sheet. I made this Kago Hive. I guess that's how you pronounce it. But it's from Super Metroid, and it's the hive that when you shoot it, it shakes the screen a little, and then all these little fire fleas jump out, or some kind of little flea. They're infested. Anyway, click OK. Well, let me go back one. I'm sorry. This is a file that I created. It's basically a PNG, and it's got 5 of these hives that look the same but aren't. So if you import your sprite sheet, you will be able to split it into columns. So there's 1 column, there's 2 columns, 3, 4, and 5. 5, I have 5 pictures, so I want 5 columns. So this is what a sprite sheet actually does. Which definitely wasn't the right size, but anyway. Let's see, it basically lets you animate your animation, which again, it's all from a sprite sheet, so it's just a bunch of pictures lined up doing that. Just looks like it's pulsating. Pretty cool. But right now I'm going to go back. I'm going to undo all this crap because that's not what I wanted to do. And of course, you saw how it cut off the right side of it. This is not the correct canvas size for a project like that. So the first thing you need to do if you are creating a sprite sheet is you need to open, or you need to create your actual sprite sheet. So this is my sprite sheet. I drew myself, thinning hairline and all, as Mega Man running. Alright, yeah, that's right. I disabled pixel grid. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't slide it. But basically, this is your pixel grid. I use this framing tool so much that basically what I do when I create these is I take my widest picture. That would be this one. And it tells you how many pixels you're at right now. So what I've done is I've created a 26 by 26 pixel. Probably could have done a little bit shorter on the top, but the height on this one, as long as I've got enough space, it's fine. I didn't want to do, what is it? I didn't want to do a 26 by 25. I wanted to do a 26 by 26 just to keep it square. So I've got that 26 by 26, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, there's so much wasted space right here. Well, this is another 26 by 26. And this is important. And there's your other 26 by 26. So each one of these squares is set up as 26 by 26, 26 by 26, 26 by 26. This is important. I leave a buffer zone right here of 1 pixel, especially, or at least when working with 8-bit. And it is important because this entire thing is 76 by 26. So especially if you have an even number, which I try to keep it even because you don't want this program trying to split odd numbers because that sucks. But you've got 26 by 26, 26 by 26, 26 by 26. The reason that is important is because once you make this sheet, you save it just like this, save it as a PNG, and then I'm going to create new. I don't want to save that because I already saved it. This is back to basically the first step. Transparent, wrapping preview, and I'm going to do 26 by, I'll leave that at 48 because I can't remember how big the other one is. But I've made this animation already. I'm doing this one from scratch again just to show you how to do it. So I've made different sprite sheets, and I know you can put them all on one sheet and work with them like that. I like to create different sheets. So do preferences, and then scroll wheel and trackpad should pan or zoom. I hate panning, so just set it up for zoom and it'll work fine. If you hold down the space bar, you can click and just drag this anywhere. It's very, very helpful. So you've got your blank canvas there. And the most important thing to remember when doing animation like this is you need to have a plan. So I want to create a scene where I'm running, I stop, blink a few times, and then nope TF out of there, where in the Mega Man games where you kind of beam up at the end of the levels. I don't know what it's called, sorry. Animation settings. We're going to change this to 30 frames per second. And again, you can do 60 if you want. You just have to double everything we're doing if you do 60. But animation, I'm going to import sprite sheet. Now I've got running, standing, and then the teleport. So here's running, and remember there's three columns, and this was important why we set those up at 26 wide a piece, because if you don't and you would have left that center dude at like 24, you'd be cutting off a foot. I mean, it would look something like this if you would have done 24 or 15 or however wide he is. I don't remember, but I did it at an even number of pixels, so it's so much easier right here, and you don't have to fight with it later on. It's just good practice anyway. But I click OK. So you see you got your duder here. All right. The layer transform tool. You can just do that instead of moving them all individually. I knew there was a way I did it. I just couldn't remember. So what I'm doing is I'm putting myself 1 pixel off of the bottom. Should be like that in every frame. 1 pixel, 1 pixel. All right. So basically so far what we've got is 1, 2, 3. Now since he's running, and this is a very, very simple animation, I'm going to go ahead and select these 3. You just click the first one, hold down Shift, click the end one. You right click and do make a bouncing sub loop. And what that does is it goes 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. It just goes back and forth. That's what bouncing is. And I'm going to show you a problem that we'll run into, but since I'm just going to call it 60 seconds right now, or 60 frames, which would be 2 seconds for us. So press home to go to the beginning and press P. That's just way too fast. So, and again, there's no way to actually zoom into this crap, and it's so frustrating. I mean, I can zoom like that. That's not really what I want to do, but I guess it'll work for this case. So you right click, insert empty cell. That's on the first one. On the second one, right click, insert empty cell. And the third one, right click, insert empty cell. Now it's going to throw you all the way to the end. Just press home again and press P. That works a lot better. So basically every 2 frames it's going to move. So you got 1, 2, then it's going to go to the second. 3, 4, go to the third one. 5, 6. So that's your run animation. I think that looks pretty good for 30 frames per second. It's a lot better than having it change every single frame. I mean, it looks like I was having a spasm. And again, that's the bouncing. If you do the regular loop, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'll show you why I don't want to do that. Remove sub loop. So this is just a regular sub loop. It doesn't look right. See, it just kind of looks like I'm doing the curly shuffle. So you want to remove the sub loop and then make a bouncing sub loop to make it go back and forth. Now it looks right. It looks like his legs are alternating and his arms are alternating. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. All right, moving on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer transform tool and I'm going to drag it to the left because he's running this way. I want him to run on frame. And then we are going to click the little arrow there, and there's these 2 little things here. We've got keyframes. We want a transform keyframe, so double click that. So now I know he's just standing off there to the side running his happy little heart out, but what we're going to do is take this to frame 15. We are going to move him on frame, and then it created a keyframe for us. And a keyframe is just, it means something has changed. And it took me forever to figure out that you have to put a keyframe at the very beginning, or else this whole program does not work with you. That's probably the most important part about this whole animation. So if we press home and we press P, it takes about half a second. So that may be a little too slow. So you can just click and drag, and we'll drag it over to 30 seconds. Press home and P. That's a little bit better. It takes 1 second for him to run into the frame. Alright, so that I'm satisfied with that. This is a simple tutorial. You can get as complex as you want with this. So what we're going to do is go into Animation, Import Sprite Sheet. And again, I know you can put all these on one sheet. I don't want to do that because I don't like working like that. So now we got where I'm standing and blinking. And I've got 2 columns. And I guarantee you these are 26 by 26 again. So click OK. And again, all the way up here. I don't want him to be all the way up there. I actually want him to be down here on the bottom. And I want him to be 1 frame, or I want him to be 1 pixel off the bottom. Oh yeah, that's how you move them all at once. I'm sorry. The layer transform tool, you can just do that instead of moving them all individually. I knew there was a way I did it, I just couldn't remember. So use your layer transform tool to drag him down there, and it will move all of the animations at once. Now when he stops, and if you need to do a, what do you call it, a precise movement, what you do is you hold down alternate and he moves 1 pixel at a time. If you don't, he can jump all over the place and move 2 pixels. Or if you hold down control, he does some crazy dance. I don't know what he's doing. So anyway, I'm going to hold down alternate to take me down 1 pixel. And I think that's where I want to be. But we'll find out in a minute. Yeah, I think that's right. All right, so click the little arrow here, and we are going to move Mega Man standing just off the frame. And you're going to think, oh, this is really weird. I don't understand this. But trust me, make your keyframe right there, and we're going to try this out. Okay, so Mega Man runs into frame, or I run into frame, sorry, not Mega Man. So boom, right here on the 30th frame where we've left myself, we're going to create a keyframe for, and actually you can name your layers. So stand, blink, and we have, just double click it, we have running. And then this is the background. I don't know if I'm going to put a background in it. I really needed to show you guys how to do this, but we'll get to that if I have time. So on the next frame, on 31, we actually want to, and if you're dealing with a simple thing like this, just move the character off the frame here, and then click on the stand blink layer, and drag old Mega Me, sorry. Hold alternate to get just 1 pixel, like that, and we will try this out. You see how it's, make sure it's creating these keyframes, because if it's not, you're gonna have a lot of headaches. You're gonna be like, what? I don't know what the hell is going on. So press home and P. And it looks dumb right now, but trust me, it's gonna look good by the time we're through. And he was just kind of blinking. Well, we never created a sub loop. So I'm actually going to select these two, drag them over here, and then this program is just not user-friendly on zooming again. But you see frame 1 of this animation is open eyes, frame 2 is closed. Well, that's going to be way too fast, but we want to create a subloop. Not a bouncing one, but a subloop. And then I'm actually going to insert quite a few empty cells here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think I can copy and paste about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do 8. Well, I thought I could copy and paste them, but I guess I can't. Yeah, at least I haven't found a way to to do it. So insert, I just want to keep inserting empty cells. All right, so and then I'm going to do insert empty, insert empty, insert empty. Just going to do like 3, because that's going to be him closing his eyes for 4 frames and keeping them open for, I think, 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yeah. So I'm going to press home, and then we're going to take a look at this again real quick. So P for play. We may need to make the actual project longer. We'll do 120 frames, give us a little bit more space to work here. Home and P. Okay, something is wrong. I have done something wrong. Oh, I see. All right, so we want to remove the subloop. The subloop, okay. Just to show you how to figure out what the problem is real quick. These little dots right here represent the subloop, and for some reason it shifted. It shifted the subloop. I don't know why it did it, but it did. So we want to right click, remove subloop, and then we're going to make another subloop. Or we're going to redo it actually. So we want right here to right there, where you're going to make a subloop. Not a bouncing one, but a subloop. So press home and press P. So you can make whatever kind of blinking pattern you want, and it doesn't have to, you can make it completely random. You're just going to have a longer subloop because you're going to have to loop it at some point. I mean, I guess you don't have to loop it, but it's a lot easier, and it kind of adds continuity to your animation or even some humor. All right, so we got that taken care of, and we are going to let him stand there for until let's see, 30, 60, 90. Two, 3, 4. So I'm going to leave him standing there till 100 because I want his eyes open. So I'm going to create his keyframe there, and then I'm going to move him up here. Whoops. Sorry. Don't move him off that frame yet. To go to the next frame, move him. It happens to us all, just mistakes. So now, you press home, press P, and voila, it is done. Well, it's not done. We have one more thing that we're going to add in, and we're going to animation, import Spreadsheet, and then mine's called sub teleport, and I've got 3 columns. I guarantee you they are 26 by something. I don't remember how tall they are, but 26 by something. So I got 3 columns, and I click OK. All right, so this is kind of backwards. I actually want this frame first. So what we can do is just drag and drop them how we want them. And this is the appropriate order. Yep. I don't actually want this on screen yet. So I'm going to drag that off screen and leave that, or make this a key cell. Now we're going to go to frame 100, I think. Yeah. So we're going to go to frame 101 and rename my layer teleport. So on frame 101, not on 100, click on 101 because he's gone. On frame 100 he's there, 101 he's gone. So we are going to drag this down to, whoops, I want to make sure all those are highlighted. Drag this down to 101. Yep, there we go. And remember, you want it, well, for this animation, you want it 1 pixel off the bottom and 1 pixel in. So I've got it set up right, and this is probably way too fast. So I'm going to say insert empty, and then click on the second one, insert empty, click on the third one. Actually, the third one, you don't really need one on the third one, because the third one, it's going to stay like that. We're going to move the frame on the third one. But real quick, we're going to see what we have here. I just hate how the program zooms in the timeline. It's very inconvenient to me, at least. So we're going to press home. I'm going to press P for play. And I need to readjust this so I can actually see what's going on. Alright, so home, P. There we go. That actually looks pretty good, putting 2 spaces there. Alright. So on this one, Mega Me teleports pretty quickly. So we'll try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll try 3 frames first. So this is real important too. At the end of this animation, we need to put a keyframe just to lock this into place. Because if I don't put a keyframe and I go 3 frames down and try to move this crap, see what happens here? The animation actually moves like this, and we don't want that yet. We want this to stay in place until we move it. So I'll just undo that. So go here where the actual initial frame is, where I move it, or where I don't want it to move. Make a keyframe for transformation. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll try this. We will take this, click on it, and just press up. And you see it, you can kind of see it on the bottom here. I mean, you can zoom in, but again, zooming is garbage on this program. I'm sorry, it is. It would be nice to be able to make wider frame cells without all this crap. But oh yeah, you can also make onion skin. I forgot to show you guys that, but that really comes through on a run animation like that. But anyway, we're going to try this out real quick. So home and then P. So that looked pretty good. I think I want to add an empty cell, one more there. I want to move this there. I'll try that. And this is all personal preference. Alright, that seemed a little bit too slow. Maybe somewhere in between. That looked pretty good to me. Alright, so that's how you create your basic first animation. You can put a background if you want. Alright, so if you want to put a background in it, which I saw it was at 100. Which we need to drag this down to the bottom. So we are actually in front of it. This is what I mean about you need to have a plan in place, because I didn't plan on showing you guys this, but I guess it's only 1 pixel tall, but if you drag your background down here, you can rename it background. Just double click over here in this gray space. And I'm doing global wrapping, because if I do local wrapping, it's going to wrap it like up and down too, and that's not what I wanted to do. It's going to look all crazy. So do global wrapping and click OK. And now, to give it a sense of movement, we are going to make sure we have our first frame set on keyframe for transform, and then we're going to go to wherever Mega Me is in frame. Which I guess we can do the whole time. But okay, there's the first frame. And what we're going to do is we are going to take the layer transform tool, and we are just going to move it this way. I don't know if that's going to look good right now, but we are going to try it out. But you can still apply this to a bigger background. Hopefully this will look good. Okay, so we're going to press home and then P. Maybe a little bit fast. So we're going to go back here and we are going to adjust this back this way some. Press home and then P. Yeah, I still think it's too fast. So again, we're going to go over here. Yeah, that looks better. You just kind of got to get a feel for it, but all right. So now, I don't want to be on that. Now what we do is export animation, and then we want to do animated GIF. I don't do optimize file size. I don't know why. I guess I just want the original. I don't want it to optimize anything. We're going to do OK, and then we're going to, we'll just do test run, save. And then here's where I recommend you scale. Do at least 500%. And if you don't, you'll end up seeing blurriness with something this small. Now, if you're doing a bigger scale project, I don't think you're going to notice as much, but you should probably upscale at least 500%. And here, I'll do full size at 100% real quick. And then we will check out what I'm talking about. Now, if I can remember where I saved it, I think I put it in Twitch. Let's see, test run, there we go. Yeah, okay, so in order, it's so small on the screen, in order to see it, you have to zoom way in. Well, look at the blurriness you get. I mean, it looks decent, it's just, the animation does, it's just blurry. So we're going to File, Export Animation, and all the settings should be right. Save, yes, replace it. And then we are going to scale this thing 500%. You know what, I'm going to do it 1,000, just to make sure it looks good. I'm just going to do it 1,000 just to make sure it looks good. Alright, test run. There we go. No more blurriness. Alright, well, I'm the Rifter. Drop me a like, share, and subscribe. Tell me if this helped you out. Hopefully more people will use Hexels 3, because it is a great program. But again, I'm the Rifter. Thank you for watching. As always, 687 of you people are watching. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.